Yesterday we started talking about OTAs, so it was the first one available to the media. Second session though, out of 6. We talked about this guy, Cam Jurgens, and we're going to look at a little bit more of the final details of him making this position switch, as well as look at some joint practices we got scheduled with the Browns and the Indianapolis Colts we have a connection to. What's up, it's your boy Cintron. Come back into another analysis / news video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. Article: Cam Jurgens on switch to right guard. I want to be an athlete at any spot I am. So we'll see how his transition is going to come along, or how it's going to look, and how it's looking. I love this text. Jason Kelsey him with the, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm coming back for another year. And Cam Jurgens shrugged it off. He's like, it's okay because we're getting a great mentor back in the locker room, as well as a guy, who still has the moxie, the wherewithal, the tools to play, start and play at a high level at center. So, it's delaying the progress, the elevation of one Cam Jurgens, Beef Jurgens, but we'll take that, most definitely. They have a similar build, athleticism, and even the playing style. But he's a little bit heavier than Kelsey. Kelsey's like 280, 290 range. Maybe even a little bit lighter than that. But, your boy packs a wall. He plays with excellent technique and leverage. And, uses all that information that he's gathered, experience that he's gathered over the years to his advantage. And second team All-Pro last year. Second center, best center in the league last year, according to the voters for the All-Pro awards, behind the guy in Kansas City. I forget his name right now. But I'd put him ahead of him. That's just me. All right. In the preseason last year, he got some looks at guard, and he looked good scheme fit with us, and it was a great cheap option because Isaac Seumalo left, for 3 years, $24 million. $8 million average to Pittsburgh, and they gained a great old lineman, a guy who's 29, but he still has some years to play at a high level. Offensive linemen can play into their mid-30s at a high level, so without having serious drop off. So it's a bit of a gamble, new position, but he says it allows him to play from a different perspective, different understanding of the offense, and he can get to understand the scheme rather than memorize, because the center, they're accountable for all the calls and the play calls along the lines and the shifts and things like that. So, and diagnosing the defense and such. So it's a very heady, very responsibility laden position. He gets to glean from Jason Kelsey being next to him and being sandwiched in between those two Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, Lane Johnson at the right tackle position and Jason Kelsey at the center. So, and people were worried about his size. He said that he beefed up a little bit. He's at 305 right now, but he's planning to beef up into the 310, 315 range to be able to better, take that punishment there at guard, because, they have to go up against those beefy, meaty D tackles. Yeah, same at center, but it's a little bit different, with the positioning, and you're starting off right off the bat. You're line up right over them, and where they're kind of shaded to you at center. So I don't know if you're ever taking the full brunt. You can kind of finesse angles and stuff, maybe a little bit more. But that's a concern. Someone's saying that Johnson prefers to have Steen put next to him. The guy is 6'6", 321, so he has a requisite size. But in a fair battle, I see Cam Jurgens winning out in this position battle. Even though there's a new position for him, they cross-trained him since last year. He's getting snaps there. He had some spot snaps in the preseason and in the regular season, and heavy packages on the goal line and things like that. So the guy has the athleticism to definitely play the position, and he's had a year of training as well, a year in the system to learn those set schemes, and he knows them way better than Steen does right now. And he's trying to iron out those responsibilities and things that he's going to be tasked to know, doing his homework. The playbook is probably thick, and on the offensive line, they have to know protections and schemes and be able to next level diagnose what the defense is doing and how they're going to try to attack and break down the scheme, and learn that inside out is the way to go to protect the quarterback and to cover your ass, cover your responsibilities, and try to, you can't double team, come up to the next level, take out the second level guys. So there's so much that he's probably swimming in right now, and they're going to assist him. But I prefer to redshirt him a year and let him start next year. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, Cam Jurgens, like I said, has that advantage being in here since last year, and the guy's smart, intelligent, high football IQ. So I believe he'll go out there, win the job, and get it done. But let's get into some announcements about Eagles joint practice. So we're going to run one with Shane Steichen, who was our offensive coordinator last year. He's now with the Colts, held on the 22nd, and we're going to have one with the Browns on the 17th. So they're playing both of those teams in the preseason. Nick Sirianni liked these practices in lieu of actual kind of just grinded out training camp practices. Gives them a chance to evaluate where their guys are. Give the guys solid reps against starting caliber teams, starting caliber talent on other teams across the league, as well as the backups as well. And the iron sharpens iron. The guys get better. They get a sense of where they rank amongst their peers, as well as some of the best guys in the league, and they get to improve and test themselves and just hit somebody else that doesn't have a green-ish jersey. So there's that as well. And it's a relatively light practice, and but it's great for the competitive juices, even though it is just kind of like a run through, and there's some speed added to it, with regular speed and whatnot. But they keep it light to prevent injury and such, because they are going into the preseason game that they will play in a couple days later. But it's a great warm up. I really like the idea of these joint practices. So we're gonna look at the rosters of these two teams. I think we don't play them in the regular season. So we'll start first with the AFC North, Cleveland Browns. So as you can see here, I'll get this out of the way, hopefully. Quarterback Deshaun Watson would be a good test for our defense, even though he was kind of rusty last year. Yeah, he could definitely be a quarterback, a good quarterback. It'd be a good field general back there. Nick Chubb will test our D line, and they have some solid, decent receivers, but the depth is kind of really lacking. Amari Cooper, obviously a good starting talent. We played him when he came from Dallas for a couple seasons, many years, I think 3 at least. Elijah Moore, but a slot receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he fought his way up the roster, but he's a second guy, second fiddle. I feel like more of a number 3 talent wise. David Njoku, he's a solid tight end. Hasn't really hit on his potential thus far, but he's very athletic. The offensive line is decent. Bitonio and Teller being I think the best guys here. Jack Conklin, kind of a reclamation project. I think he was coming off an injury this past season. Decent, but nothing to write home about. But defense is really has a lot of potential. Myles Garrett, obviously, I think he's been in the running for defensive player of the year. Obviously one of the top 5 DNs, if not top 3. I'd say top 3. Dalvin Tomlinson, a big guy. We ran into him last year with the Vikings. I think he's 330, man. And the guy's pretty hard to move, but I like our chances against his line. Za'Darius Thomas. These guys will be a good challenge for our O-line, especially Myles Garrett. He'll be going up against most likely our left tackle, Jordan Mailata. So it'll be interesting to see how that battle goes and who wins. Might be back and forth, but I think he can stand his ground with him. And if he does lose, it won't be too bad of a beating. But we'll see how Jordan Mailata, how he can elevate this year. Za'Darius Thomas, he gets shut out by Lane. That's just easy. And then all these other guys at the other level. Owusu Koromoa is a good solid player. Denzel Ward is a solid corner, but these guys aren't really the best secondary. I think we can have our way. But like I said, this is preseason, but it's just projecting the roster. There'll be some areas of growth, especially I think for the O-line. We'll really get better in our D-line / linebackers. We'll get to see what they're made of against a tough runner like Nick Chubb. But just for going up against that offensive line, I think it might play a couple snaps, so we'll see. But really what we want to see here is this Colts team. So Like I said, Shane Steichen heading up them as head coach. He went over in this past offseason to head of that group. Lost both our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Elevated our quarterbacks coach, though, Brian Johnson. He has a rapport history with Jalen Hurts, so we trust him to get the job done and kind of put his own stamp on the offense and see what he exactly wants to do with Jalen Hurts. So be different from last year. Could be how they use the option, how they employ the running backs most definitely out the backfield, using them in the pass game as well. Combination of routes. So I'm interested to see. And but the player that we really want to get to see, we might not be on a few snaps, is Anthony Richardson, the guy who's very talented, uber talented, from Florida, ran a 4.44, had like a 44-inch vertical, and he's 6'4". So I mean, he's a guy who loves the fours, obviously. I think 4.43. But yeah, he's a work out of progress. We're gonna see reunited with our last year's backup quarterback, Gardner Minshew. And another good test. These two good running backs. Jonathan Taylor, all-world guy 2 years ago, 1,700 yards, but just couldn't stay healthy last year. Was kind of effective against us, but we shut him down after I think the first series. So Michael Pittman Jr., solid receivers. I mean, good test, a big physical guy out there. Alex Pierce has a lot of had a lot of measurables and some talent, but consistency is something you need to work on. And Josh Downs, so a good trio of receivers. It's been a good test if we played against our starting trio of corners. Jelani Wood is decent. The Colts pick up, but I mean they're not. I'll be interested to see their top 5 picks. The 5 guys that selected just had the most insane measurables you'll see from a guy. It was like a starting 5 of freaks, like Space Jam guys. Some of these guys might get some shine. We'll see. But they got the guy that wanted the DN out of Northwestern, Addy, ran a 4.4 at D tackle, man. It was just insane. 280, 6'1" or 6'2", 280, man, just a monster. But he went to the Colts, and we'll see how they use his talents. But they have a decent O-line as well. Like Quentin Nelson being the highlight here, Ryan Kelly being a solid guy as well. But some of these other guys, they're decent options. But like I said, nothing special with the Cleveland Browns line as well. But they're not the worst lines out there. Their defense, so you have some talent. Kwity Paye, quick guy out there. DeForest Buckner, monster size. Ibukam, we played against him he was on the 49ers. They brought him over. See, he's a underrated guy. So I mean, they have an interesting defense here. Some talent in the middle with Shaquille Leonard, the All-Pro guy, and the corners. I mean, Kenny Moore's a talented slot corner. But other than that, I mean, not really a lot back there on the secondary. So we have that edge. But we'll see how they play, against our run game, and try to stop the receivers. So it'll be some good development. Like it'll be a good O-line for our defensive line to go up against, and vice versa with their defensive line, as well as the receivers. Like I said, those trio receivers will see what Josh Downs has to bring to the NFL out of UNC. But he's talented, man. And as are these two guys. Michael Pittman's been made more of his potential, but Alex Pierce is still trying to earn his keep, even though he was a second-round pick. The guy has good measurables. So, but yeah, that'll be what we're looking at. So we'll stop the video here, but I mean it's going to be interesting. I love to see joint practices and see the guys competing and hitting a different guy. They get that motivation, and like I said, to test themselves against someone. Especially the guys that are highly talented. Like, for example, they're going to get up for Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Shaquille Leonard, Quentin Nelson. Those are just probably the best guys on the roster. So we'll get to see. They're measuring sticks. We'll see where this young defense is and how this offense is going to try to keep on chugging. So with that, we'll get up out of here. Shorter video than usual, but it's still kind of long. Anyways, you're not even watching though. You're not even here. But as always, it's all good because I love doing these videos. But it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.